Ahead of the prestigious and intriguing Monaco Grand Prix, the world of Formula One was once again shaken by Charles Leclerc's surprising statement. The local Sun revealed Ferrari's secret strategy, leaving Lewis Hamilton shocked and speechless. Will Ferrari's unexpected strategy lead Leclerc to victory on his home turf, or will it backfire against tough rivals like Hamilton? Let's discuss. The 2025 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix should have marked Ferrari's comeback at home in front of thousands of tifosi filling the stands at the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari. However, instead of being a stage for victory, Imola opened a new chapter in Ferrari's internal drama, filled with tension and conflict. Most strikingly, the rift between their two heroes, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Behind the seemingly ordinary final standings lies a complicated story almost invisible on the live broadcast. It all came down to one thing: a mix-up in strategy, shambolic communication, and an emotional outburst from Leclerc that caught Lewis Hamilton off guard and embarrassed Ferrari's command structure in front of the world. The drama began when the safety car came onto the track on lap 46 after marshals cleared debris from the Tamburello area following a minor incident. This presented a golden opportunity to make a pit stop, change tires, and gain a positional advantage through clever strategy. This is where the differences between the two sides of the Ferrari garage began to show. Lewis Hamilton, who was in 7th place at the time, immediately began a calm, strategic discussion with his race engineer, Riccardo Adami. Together, they assessed the track temperature, the condition of the tires, and their opponent's movements. There was no rush or panic. After analyzing everything, they made a decision: pit, change tires, and prepare to attack. It was a bold but calculated move. And the result? Hamilton sped away on fresh tires, passing one driver after another and eventually finishing 4th, his best result with Ferrari so far. Charles Leclerc, on the other hand, was in a whirlwind of confusion. With no new medium or hard tires available, he had no choice but to use a soft tire. Engineer Brian Botzi tried to inform Hamilton of his strategy. Hamilton doesn't want a box. Just to let you know. However, Leclerc's response was not tactical. It was an emotional outburst. "I don't care. We're talking about ourselves." The sharp, punchy, loaded words sent ripples through the paddock. They showed frustration and made it clear that Leclerc felt sidelined and that the team was shifting its focus to the new arrival, who was being given priority in key decisions. By the time Leclerc finally decided to pit, it was too late. Hamilton had already come out on fresh tires. Leclerc was left with worn tires, losing time, momentum, and positions. When the team radio came back on, Leclerc's voice was full of anger and disbelief. "Why haven't I pitted yet? Lewis has already come in. I don't want to lose any more positions." Following Ferrari's disappointing race, team principal Fred Vasseur finally appeared before the media. The camera focused on his face, which looked more tired than usual. His blank stare conveyed many things: burden, confusion, and perhaps anger not yet ready to be released. In the tense atmosphere, he delivered a short, flat, and heavily edited statement. "We lost 3 to 4 tenths of a second in qualifying, and that cost us a lot." The statement sounded honest, but seemed to only scratch the surface. He talked about time and technical matters, but he did not touch on the core of the chaos that had occurred. There was not a single word about the questionable pit stop strategy. There was no clarification of the now viral radio conversation, a confused exchange between Leclerc and his team that left the public wondering who was really in control. There was no defense of Leclerc, who looked frustrated and almost resigned at the end of the race. Vasseur's silence spoke volumes. He did not deny, defend, or explain anything. In F1, when top brass remains silent in critical situations, it's usually not a good sign. Something is being kept under wraps. It may be too big or too sensitive to reveal now. What happened in Imola was more than just a battle on the track. It was also a reflection of the increasingly heated internal dynamics within Ferrari. Behind the spotlight and the roar of the V6 hybrid engine, a new reality was revealed. Ferrari is now home to two approaches, two racing philosophies, and two great characters, each with their own ego and history. Two worlds collide in the same garage. Lewis Hamilton, the living legend of Formula One and 7-time world champion, came to Maranello not only with a big name but also with a structured way of working, calmness, and a technical approach. Hamilton is known for his effective communication, in-depth analysis of data, and his ability to guide the team collectively. He is not just a racer. He is also an architect who builds solid, responsive teams. On the other side stands Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's golden boy, who has been the axis of the Prancing Horse team's long-term projects for years. Leclerc is a symbol of hope, a young racer who grew up with Ferrari, loves the team with all his heart, and has remained loyal through difficult times. But now, everything has changed. Hamilton's arrival has brought a new competitor to the track and shifted the team's internal center of gravity. According to information from within the team, Hamilton's setup is now the main baseline for Ferrari's car development. The engineering team, which used to rely on Leclerc's feedback as the main reference, is starting to shift its focus. They dissect the LH44's telemetry more often, build strategies based on his data, and draw up development plans that incorporate the world champion's input. Even in weekly briefings, the focus of discussion is on Hamilton's performance and needs. Meanwhile, Leclerc must be willing to share, or even give up, the space that used to be entirely his. This situation is causing subtle yet significant friction. Leclerc has invested years of his life, both emotionally and professionally, in Ferrari. He is starting to feel a shift in power that is slowly but surely eroding his position. He is no longer the only voice heard or the only star in the spotlight. He is frustrated, especially because he knows he is not losing speed but slowly losing influence in a team that used to be built around him. Ferrari has all the tools necessary to become world champions: a fast car, 2 world-class drivers, and an improving technical structure. However, tools alone are not enough. Without a solid foundation, the team could collapse due to internal conflict. Can Ferrari become a modern organization like Mercedes, which managed the dominance of Hamilton and Rosberg in the past, albeit at a high cost? Or will they fall back into the old pattern of a big team stumbling due to internal egos and inconsistent strategies? Imola was a wake-up call. But did they listen? Now, the world's eyes are on the Monaco Grand Prix, the most prestigious race on the Formula One calendar. This narrow circuit, which runs through the heart of Monte Carlo, is not known for speed or acceleration but for strategy and timing. In Monaco, where there is little room for overtaking, strategy is not just a tool, it is the heart of the race itself. Ferrari cannot afford to slip up again. A small mistake could turn into a major disaster. Internal communication must improve, and the lines of instruction between the pit wall and the drivers must become clear again. Egos must be checked, because in Monaco, there is no room for individualism that harms the team. Most crucially, trust must be fully restored between the drivers and engineers and between the two sides of the garage, which have recently seemed like polar opposites. A misinterpreted radio conversation or a moment of hesitation could spark a much larger crisis. On this narrow track, where every second counts, harmony and precision are the most important tools. In Monaco, races aren't won on the straights, but rather in the mind and strategy room. The question now is whether Charles Leclerc was right to voice his increasingly loud protests, especially given the mounting internal tensions at Ferrari. Will Lewis Hamilton's mid-season turnaround pose a threat to Leclerc's position, or will it offer Ferrari a glimmer of hope and pull them out of decline? Share your thoughts below.